With this now, Ross Feingold is a political risk analyst and former Asia chairman of the Republicans abroad. He joins us from Taipei. Well, thanks for being on the programme here. What do you believe could be the political and practical repercussions if Nancy Pelosi does visit Taiwan, or is too much being made of this?
I'll answer your first question. Political and practical ramifications, if she does in fact visit in the coming days. China could use economic measures, and that's something they've used against other countries as well, such as Australia, and more recently against Taiwan by banning certain agricultural products, other types of trade retaliation. Increase in military exercises is an obvious choice as well. Persuade a country that has diplomatic relations with Taiwan to end those relations and establish relations with China. And these are all things that China has done in the past, so there's a possibility that they'll just do that again, or maybe even do it with a grander scale, whether that's larger military exercises or banning more products at one time or several products within a short period of time. There isn't really much government-to-government contact at the moment between Taiwan and China, so that's not an option insofar as China can't cut off the contact that really doesn't exist at the moment. And then the same would apply vis-a-vis the United States as well. Trade retaliation, military exercises, whether that's in the Taiwan Strait, the South China Sea, East China Sea. This would obviously have an effect on U.S. treaty allies in the region, such as Japan, Korea, and the Philippines. And then other types of cutting off contact, which I mentioned earlier, isn't really a possibility with regard to Taiwan, but it's certainly a possibility with regard to the U.S., even closing a consulate, for example. There was a round of that in recent years as well. So there are a number of possibilities. Whether China will actually do those, it just remains to be seen. But for your second question, the fact is Pelosi is a bit of a lame duck. There's very little likelihood that she's going to be speaker come January next year. So what she could really do for Taiwan in the remaining months that she's the speaker, I think that's a legitimate question to ask. And then we could say, okay, well, what was the point of all this? And then it's really just the symbolism of the House Speaker being here in Taipei.
And what about Taiwan's public view of this then? Are they walking something of a tightrope?
To be frank with you, the public is not really following this. I mean, people are not worried of an imminent attack. Now, maybe they should think more about that, given the statements that have come from the Chinese military and the Chinese government in recent days. But frankly, it's business as usual for people here in Taiwan. So they're worried about COVID-19 or worried about inflation. There's local elections scheduled for November here in Taiwan, so people are paying attention to that as well. But people are not talking about Pelosi's visit. I mean, they view it as something for the politicians and government officials.
I mean, visits by US officials to Taiwan are not uncommon, are they? So is it the stature of the visitor that so rankles China?
That's correct. So visits by members of Congress are very common, and they've been increasing in the last couple of years, notwithstanding COVID-19. Officials from the executive branch, that's still more rare, and senior officials from the executive branch, very rare. There was a cabinet secretary during the final months of the Trump administration. That was a significant event, as well as Undersecretary of State was also a significant visit in September 2020. But generally, executive branch officials, not common. But China is very angry, as your report from Washington noted, that she is in line for the succession to the president, number 2, right after the vice president. And despite U.S. side saying to China, well, you don't get it, because the executive branch and the legislative branch are separate, China looks at it as one government, and that Pelosi is here to represent the United States. And from China's view, this does violate various commitments that the U.S. has made about U.S.-China or U.S.-Taiwan relations. Again, even if the U.S. is saying, no, you don't get it, that's not how our constitutional system works. And in fact, the legislative branch is an independent branch of government, and they can do whatever they want.
OK, we'll leave it there. Ross Feingold, live for us in Taipei. We very much appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.